Hello guys, good evening. Um Today date is 4th of May 2026. So it all depends on when you're watching this video. Now I just want to share more light on this software, that means the current update we are using, and what makes it different from the previous version or the previous one we are using. Right. Before I proceed to start giving you details, there is a signal I noticed. I was working on something, so that signal popped up. So I decided to use this opportunity to make the video, because I had planned to probably make the video regarding the software, how to go about it, and what you should also know, and what you should also take into consideration when you are trying to take a signal. So I noticed this signal on Boom 900, right? When you look at the trade manager at the top, right, when you notice the trade manager at the top, which is here, you can see it was a buy stop, right, and price has triggered it. That is why when you check here, it tells you that order triggered, which means this trade now is live, is running. It's no longer a limit order trade. And then when you check the grade, it's showing excellent, right? I'm still going to come here because the information here and the information here sometimes may not look similar, right? And I'm going to tell you the reason why it's like that. But nevertheless, there are still some things we need to check around this point before we probably decide on number of position to take, or probably if we're going to ignore that particular trade. Then when you check, you see we have two TP level. This TP here, which is the 90, 79, 133, this is the zone TP. That means immediately a zone is formed, it creates its own TP level. You can see this blue line. That is what you are seeing right here on the dashboard. You notice that blue line, right? When you check the dashboard where we have the signal, this is the TP for that particular signal. But the system has a way of checking if that TP level is safe or not. Are you getting me now? The system has a way of checking if that TP level is safe or not. Now, when it's safe, it tells you a clear path to TP. Can you see it here? It tells you clear path to TP, meaning that from this entry point to that point, it doesn't see any, the system can't detect any barrier that is going to stop this price from hitting that TP level. That is what it really implies. So anytime you notice a signal, and then when you check the TP, it's telling you clear path to TP, it is indirectly telling you that from this your entry point here to this level here, the system can't detect any barrier which is going to hinder that point from the other price from hitting that particular target. Are you getting it now? So these are things you should notice. Now, recently, as at today, somebody made a complaint that he can't easily find the SL, that means the stop loss on the panel, that means the trade manager. Now there is a stop loss digit, it's just that it comes in pip. When you check under quality, the SL is the first, right? But it is under, it comes as a pip count, so making it difficult for you to identify the exact point. Why in some pair the SL and TP levels they appear. So I don't really know why that is. So maybe I'm going to check it, and when I'm able to rectify it, I'll also update you guys with the rectification copy. Exactly, because it was today somebody made the complaint, and if I can't rectify it whereby the TP and SL level will display on every pair, so I'm going to convert this, I'm going to stop this thing from showing pips rather than showing straight digits, so that you'll be able to see it, or once you target it, you'll be able to see exact point where the stop loss is. Exactly. So the main reason why I'm so happy to make this video when this signal pops up is because this system does not pop up signals anyhow like the previous version, right? So the previous version was more or less like a shooting gun, always shooting when there's a little privilege or opportunity, or when it cites the formation or logic which we use for tracking signals. It keeps shooting every time. But this one is a little bit confined, whereby it has some internal check and balance it has to do before it triggers signal. And again, it doesn't trigger a counter signal at the same time. Like the previous version, you can have a buy on M15 and then you have a sell on H1. I think this was what most of you were complaining about regarding that previous version. All right. So on this version now, it is either a sell or a buy. So there's nothing like sell and buy at the same time, right? There's nothing like sell and buy at the same time. So already I have a PDF which explains every aspect of the system, right? When you check here now, this is the PDF. So everyone who gets this software also gets this PDF. This PDF gives you all the other information which I may not be able to share with you right here, because I won't want this video to be too long. I only want to focus on things that matters, and when you see them on your chart, you should be able to understand what it means. Already the PDF carries everything, right? You just need to sit down, then probably digest it one after the other, and then when you notice those changes or those actions on your chart, then you also go with it. Exactly. So let's go back to the chart now. On the norms, for this signal to give you excellent, right, we will expect the whole confluence, which is under the zone strength radar, to give us a green bar. But when you check the radar now, most of the signals seem to look like they are weak, right? Now when you check the formation of the zone, it is giving us on the radar currently is telling us that the freshness is about 53%, which is, let's say, average, right? Which is average. We can understand that price has broken beyond that point. It's more or less like coming back for a retest, converting a bearish order block into a bullish breaker block. Let me zoom out the zone a bit so that you'll be able to see the zone. Now, when you look at the zone properly, you should know that this point initially was a stop loss zone. This level initially was a stop loss, a supply zone, right? This point initially was a supply zone. Then price eventually went above that point, converting it into a breaker block, a bullish breaker block, right? So on the mitigation and price going back into that zone, it was able to detect that it's a continuation all the way up. So in some cases, those traders who love trading the other block probably must have highlighted this zone down, believing that when price comes into that zone, price should sell all the way down. But what happened at the end? Price invalidated that zone and then went up, probably came back for a retest, and now we're expecting it to push all the way to this level or this level, any of this level. That is where price is coming back into. And if this price should come back all the way to this point, I think using the lot size, the minimum lot size of 0.20, each trade should hit over $20 in profit. Are you getting? So this is the zone. The freshness of the zone is not that much. That is why we are having 53% from the radar, right? When you check the radar, it's telling us that we have 53% from this point. Can you see? Then the volume departure is about 60. That one is okay. So the first three filter, that's why they look more like average or beyond average a bit, are still good. But what makes it awful totally is that price is not aligning with the HTF. That means the higher time frame, and this could be either the 4 hour or the daily time frame. So if the software was supposed to go with this detail or this information, it won't have given it an excellence when you come to this point here. Price would have given it an excellent measure. So the fact that it gave it excellent, their internal check and balance price normally do, right? Because it's not only depending on this zone radar, zone strength radar for giving it grade. So their internal check, which involves the daily time frame uh, range, right? The daily time frame range, and then some other factors like barriers that hinders profit from getting to area of interest, which is the TP. So all that has also been checked. That is why it's rating it an excellent trade. Mind you, the fact that you trade it excellent doesn't mean you should risk your capital or your equity by placing so many um, positions. So you still have to apply risk management because trading has to do with probability and then using confidence to determine the final verdict. Exactly. So you need to be very careful when taking signals like this. And there's instances whereby the radar will give you a very great scores, like almost all the filter under the radar will be showing green bars. That means telling you that the chances are very high. And then when you check your signal board or the trade manager, which is the board where your signal is supposed to pop up, you see it blank with no signal at all, right? You don't see any signal at the moment. That doesn't mean that the system is not checking or looking or evaluating what is happening in the radar. It's just that if the radar is giving you all good, showing you green light, and then the system is not triggering any signal on the trade manager, probably the TP, if it triggers a signal, an entry, the TP level is not assured, and then maybe the daily time frame or the H4 has some barriers which might stop price even going further, right? So the internal check has to be more graded, more sound, while we just pick some other opportunities from here in line with it. So when you apply this approach, right, and when you let the system to give you based on its own grade, it's more safer for you to assume because you just notice a particular pair has a good zone score, then you trade. Like this afternoon, I was observing gold, and on gold, when I checked the radar, the scores were very good, which might expect price to push all the way up. Even that, I understand that you can't use the radar strength alone to determine your entry. If I was not careful enough, if I had placed a sell on that particular, or I'm sorry, a buy on that particular pair, definitely at the end of the day, it's definitely going to drain my account because after a while, I noticed the price went straight all the way down and then price never bought to the top. So these are things you should consider when you are doing your check. It is very important you let the system give you its own score, give you its own grade, and then you can then leverage on the entry details given to you. Now, secondly, for those of you who trace pairs that has volatile, that is very volatile, such as the derivative pairs, synthetic indices, you also need to be careful because sometimes the system tries to give you a safe SL, that means a safe stop loss, whereby the stop loss is not set to the swing point, that is the protected high or low. It's more or less like in between your entry or exactly at your fair value gap. So if you notice such kind of stop loss and the system triggers an entry, I will advise you adjust the stop loss to the swing point so that if at all the pair, that means the particular pair, decide to come back or retrace back, it won't take you out before price starts moving towards the downside. Now let me give you an instance what I mean by that. Now let's see, for instance, as this price pops up now, this signal pops up, right? Let me suspend the panel. As this signal pops up right now, so when it pops up like this, you notice that the SL, that means the stop loss, was somewhere around here. Can you see where I put the red line? Because it normally happens that way. The stop loss was set to that point. Probably the system has analyzed that even if it retraces, it's not expected to retrace to that point. So it decided to put the stop loss here rather than put it a few pips below this point, which is, let's say, the swing low, or even a better point, which is distance from there, maybe around here. Alright? But it failed and put it just at this point where we can say is like a fair value gap if price should come back or decide to retrace, right? If you notice such kind of SL, when you have an active signal, just bear the risks to move it few pips below the swing low or the swing high, depending on whichever direction the signal pops up from. So when you do that, it will save you a lot, because there was a particular signal that pops up on VIX 101S. It is just, let's say, 3 days ago. Yeah, within these early days of this new month, this month, which is May. So it was a sell signal, right? And the SL was very, very, in fact, it was inside the box. That means the supply zone. So price came in and the trigger line is not distance from there. So the trigger line was, let me give you a scenario like what we had that day. The SL was somewhere around here and the trigger line was somewhere around here. Are you getting it? So price came back, hit the trigger line, right? It was a sell limit, and then start pushing. It was a sell, so let's reverse it. It was start going, and later on, I think it hit a particular zone on the lower time frame, then made a pullback, came back and hit the stop loss. Immediately hit the stop loss, it reversed and then went straight to the TP. So, in such a situation, if you had put in your stop loss around this zone, it will only give you a little drawdown before it reverses totally. So that is why if you are trading pairs that are very, 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 very volatile, very aggressive on synthetic indices, make sure you put your SL at the swing point. It will be more safer at those zones. Exactly. It will be more safer. It will save you if price come back. It will be very painful when price takes you out and then finally go straight to your TP. Exactly. The system was just decorated to save your equity, but due to the fact that we have pairs that are very, very strict, dramatic, that are very dramatic in terms of movement, so you have to do it. Most usually like the boom and crash, whereby when it spike, those spike doesn't respect your SL or TPM. They don't respect your stop loss. So situations like this will save you from those kind of errors. But I think on For currency pair, it might not matter a lot if the pair is not that aggressive, aside gold. So that being said, that is what we have here. So we'll still be watching this particular trade to run to the ETP. Now, talking about this particular software, for you to maximize or utilize this software to the fullest, it will be more of safer for you to install it on a VPS. Now, here's the reason. When you leave it on your mobile, on your PC, right, you can't be actively on your chat all the time. That means you can't sit down 24/7 on your chat while you be expecting a signal. This one now, it was because maybe I was trying to do one or two. That was why um, I cited it. Even though I was not on my chat, from my VPS, I'll be able to still see because it is among the pair I installed on my VPS to place to give me a signal when there's to pop up an alert when there's a signal. Is that clear? So if you have ability to pay for or subscribe for a VPS for 1 month, I think it will be more better because this will help you to get clear updates of signals at the right time. Even if you're not on your PC or you're not around, once it pops up, it's going to pop up on your mobile phone. Exactly. The signal is going to pop up on your mobile phone. Now, before it pops up on your mobile phone, you need to connect your MT5 on your mobile phone to your PC or your VPS. And by so doing, you click on this icon here, which is tool. When you click on it, right, click on option. So when you click on option, you see under these points here, you see all these what is it called? All these checks. You just check them. When you check them, click OK. And when you click OK, it's going to what? Pop up on your mobile phone. Just make sure that this ID here, right? This ID here aligns with the ID on your phone. That means the MT5 on your phone ID and the ID on your PC are the same thing, so that when you click a buy, when the signal pops up, it can also pop up on your mobile phone. Exactly. Now, because currently me, I'm using two MT5, right? Yeah, sometimes I have to switch to other MT5 platforms to check or to test run my system. So since if this particular one here now is connected to the one on my mobile phone, when it pops up here, it definitely send message to my phone direct. Exactly. So that is why it is very important to have a VPS. It's also possible on your VPS. That means when you do it on your VPS, you also get it that way. So aside that, I don't see any other much detail, because every other thing you should watch out for is already on the PDF, right? It's already on the PDF. So what you should ignore here is avoid opening too many positions, and then when you notice that the signal pops up and then it's not aligning with the higher time frame, right? Situations like this is more or less like a 50-50, right? So you can take little position. If you had planned to open 3 positions before, you can minimize it to just 1. That means you just open 1 entry so that you won't risk your equity for it. And then when you notice it aligns and the details are good, then you can probably open 2 positions. But make sure that your SL is not inside your zone, because if the system puts your SL inside your zone, he is trying to keep you safe. It could be a sell limit, a buy limit. If it's inside your zone, if price comes in, like say price retrace back and take care before it push up, definitely you feel very, very offended. So, and again, make sure you pick only pairs that match your equity. Don't pick pairs that are beyond your equity. If you are having a $10, $20, or $30 account, you should be mindful of pairs you are going to be trading so that you don't end up blowing it off just because of a little pullback. If I'm using a $10 account and then I sight a signal, opening 3-4 position on that $10 account already shows that I'm not serious, right? So a little pullback will just drain the account. After the account is drained, price will start going towards the area you expected it. Now, is it that the system is not working? No, it is because you are greedy, right? It is out of your own greed that made you lose or blow off that account. It could even be way more than $10. So apply risk management and make sure you try as much as possible to don't let greed ride you. That means don't give room for greed to take you unaware. Exactly. Aside that, I don't see any other strong problem that we'll have here because already the system is sound enough to deliver accuracy for you. It's now left for you to decide how you're going to position it, either on a VPS whereby before the end of the month you'll be able to see a good outcome because you won't be missing signals all the time, or you just want your PC whereby you have to sit down steadily or make sure your software your phone is closer to your PC 24/7 because you can't open there's an instance you can open your chat and then maybe that particular chat there's no signal available, so it means you wait all day, right? And which is not proper. Now if you open your chat, right, let's say you come to this chat now, you see this pair has been buying and buying and buying. This is from 300. Currently there's no signal, so you don't know when there's going to be a signal here, or let's say I thought there was nothing on this chart or the panel or dashboard. You have opportunity of changing time frame. When you check the PDF, you change it. Now there's a zoom time frame, right? There's a zoom time frame, and then there's a zoom time frame. Let me show what I mean by zoom time frame. When you come under your software, you see this H1 here. This H1 here, it means that you are telling the system to analyze and check for zooms on the H1, right? Then we have a signal time frame, which is this M15. So what you are telling it now is check a zoom that is valid on H1 and use 15 minutes to search for signal inside that H1. So this is what the system now does. It check H1 zones, and then when there is a signal, a valid zone and a valid signal within that zone, it triggers an alert or an entry for you. So we can also still go deeper by saying, okay, do you know what? Go to the zone. I don't want to use H1. Let me use 30-minute time frame, and then let me use 5 minutes for signal. Are you seeing it now? Probably you want to scalp. So now you've given it a new instruction. Can you see what just happened now? I told the system, okay, you know what? I don't want to use just 1 hour. Probably maybe it might be too far. So now go to 30-minute time frame. Look for the zooms on 30-minute time frame, and then go to 5 minutes. When there's an entry signal there, let me know. And lo and behold, do you see that immediately I checked, do you see the validity of the zone? I told you that you see zone giving you a very good accuracy, telling you that the zone is fresh, the volume departure is high, which is around 70, the impulse ATR also high, about 2.1, and the minimum is 1.5 or 1.6, and then it's at a zone again. So you can see that here, this is like an A1 setup, but despite that it looks so clear and clean, when you check the manager, nothing is there. This is because it has an internal check. It's not that the system is not working, it's working. It has an internal check. From the internal check, maybe if it gives you an entry, right? For this zone now, this zone you are seeing right here, this is the TP level. No, naturally, this is where we expect price to drop to. Immediately this zone is formed, it forms its own TP level, right? But the fact that there is no signal here now, the TP level will still remain. But if eventually there's a signal within this sell or supply zone, which forms from 30 minutes, I'm currently on 1 hour, so from 30 minutes time frame, if the 5 minute detect any sell around this zone, right, the TP, like I told you, might be direct to this point, or there might be a random level which might not be close to this. So it is now left for the manager to detect where is going to put the TP based on the barrier it finds or detects. When they say barrier, meaning that areas where my price might hinder and then not get to the TP. So just like blockage, it might trigger, and instead of price coming down to this point, price may just get to this point and then it will reverse. So the system has the ability to check and see this internally. So if it notices such, it won't trigger any signal. Exactly. It won't trigger any signal at all. So anytime you see your radar giving you good score, don't be tempted to open trade. The probability is that there's chances that it might not come down. And there's still chances that price will drop from here to this point. It won't trigger you any signal. This is because it has an internal check. There are things to check, and if one of those filter fail, if others even pass, it will still tell you no signal. Exactly. It has advantage and it also has disadvantage. When you are too strict, it gives you problem sometimes. And when you are too strict, it saves you from having problem most times. So that is why in trading we can't get it 100%. At least we can get 80 to 85 or 90%. So if it doesn't give you signal, that doesn't mean it's not working. It only means that the check is checking, it's not satisfied. That is why maybe probably out of 3 check, 2 are very okay, 1 is not okay. That is why it failed to trigger your entry for you. Exactly. So you can see how we switch from 1 hour and then we got a good radar score, but at that we still didn't get signal. Then from the other point, we got signal, but the radar score was a bit messy, right? So these are the things that normally occur, which you cannot easily sight with your own eyes except with the help of tools like this. Exactly. Except with the help of tools like this, that be able to sight all those and see a very valid area of entry. And another thing is that this thing will save you from emotion. Since you have something you are using or a signal from a source, you won't be opening and closing trade every 2 minutes on the chart. Exactly, you won't be opening, closing, opening, closing. No. Once there's signal, is there signal, and when there's no signal, there's no signal. Exactly. So that is just the difference between you using a software and then you depending on or just using your emotion to trade forex or any other pair. So that being said, please check if you have any if you notice anything, don't hesitate to message me. It works on synthetic and any other asset in as much as it's on MT5. It will definitely give you good results. And for those of you who requested for the TP to be shown on the chart, so what I'm going to do, maybe before the end of this week, I'm going to rectify that, and once I'm done, I will update you guys with the new version, whereby even if it doesn't mark out the TP lines or TP and entry level, you should be able to see the SL level right here on the dashboard. Already from the pop-up notification that you're going to send to your mobile phone, it has the TP and the SL are there correctly on digit. It is only on the manager panel that it's on pip. And then some of you have not yet understand price action to that level, whereby you use pip to detect your SL and then TP. So all that will be resolved, and then you get your copy. Exactly. So if you have any question, you can DM me and ask. And then if you notice anything also, you can also let me know.